royalty. George sat me down one Thursday evening and dropped it on me without any build-up. Liam's moving back home with Chloe and the baby. They need your room for the nursery. You've got 3 weeks to find somewhere else to live. I stared at him, waiting for the punchline. There wasn't one. We have a guest room, I said. They can use that. They're using the guest room for themselves. The baby needs proper space. So where am I supposed to go? You're almost 18. You should start acting like an adult anyway. Sarah stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching. When I looked at her, she gave me a sympathetic smile that didn't reach her eyes. It's what's best for everyone, she said. Liam has a family to think about. The baby needs a stable environment. You understand? I understood perfectly. I understood that I'd never mattered. And now they didn't even have to pretend. I tried to fight it, told George this was insane, that he couldn't just kick out his own son. He looked at me like I'd insulted him and said if I didn't leave voluntarily, he'd call the police and have me removed for trespassing. His own kid, threatened with cops. Sarah chimed in, "We're not trying to be difficult. We're trying to help you become independent. Your mother would want you to stand on your own 2 feet, using my dead mom as justification for throwing me out." That's when I knew there was no point arguing. I called my mom's parents that night. Arthur and Helen lived about 6 hours away in Raleigh, North Carolina. I'd barely seen them since the funeral because George always had excuses for why we couldn't visit. They picked up on the second ring, and when I explained the situation, Arthur went silent for a long moment. "Pack your things," he finally said. "We're coming to get you this weekend." They showed up 3 days later with a truck. Arthur looked at George once, with pure contempt. "You should be ashamed," he said. George went back inside while I loaded boxes. Sarah came out as we finished. She had a folder in her hands and a concerned expression. "Before you go, there's something you should know," she said. "We've been setting aside money for your college fund." She handed me the folder. A single bank statement showing $1,200. $1,200? I said. Helen, who'd been quietly seething in the truck, laughed. "Right. You just renovated your entire kitchen last year." I handed the folder back. "Keep it." The look of relief on her face told me everything. This was bait. She wanted me to refuse so she could tell people they'd tried to help, but I was too angry to accept it. Perfect narrative for later. Liam hadn't even shown up. He was already moving his stuff into my room. The drive to Raleigh was quiet. Arthur said, "Your mother told me before she passed that we needed to watch out for you. Said your dad had changed." She was right. My grandparents refused to let me pay rent. They said I was still a kid who deserved a home. But once I got steady hours at a bookstore, I started slipping money into the grocery jar when they weren't looking. They gave me stability. I needed to give something back. I finished high school remotely, graduated with my grandparents in the audience. I got accepted to Chapel Hill, an hour away from their house, and planned to commute and work part-time. For close to 2 years, I didn't hear from George, Liam, or Sarah. I deleted their numbers, blocked them, moved on. My grandparents treated me like an actual human being. We had dinner conversations where people asked how my day was and listened. I had a room that was truly mine. I started to feel like maybe things could be okay. Then they showed up again. It was a Saturday afternoon. I was in my room reading for a summer class when Helen came upstairs with a look that instantly set me on edge. "Your father's here," she said. "Liam, too. And that woman, Sarah." Helen hadn't spoken Sarah's name since the day she married George. "Tell them to leave." "Arthur already tried," she said. "They're insisting it's urgent. Legal trouble." That made me go downstairs. They were sitting in the living room, looking wrecked. George was thinner with dark circles. Liam was jittery and pale. Sarah was trying and failing to look composed. Arthur stood by the door, clearly 1 second away from throwing them out. "You've got 10 minutes," I said. "Then you leave." George opened his mouth with some fake warm greeting. I cut him off. 9 minutes now. Liam leaned forward. "We're in trouble. Serious trouble. We need your help." Then they dumped the whole story on me. After Liam lost his job, George had gotten him a position at an industrial leasing company in Atlanta, owned by David, my mom's closest friend. Liam decided the salary wasn't good enough. So, he created a fake vendor called Summit Industrial Supply and routed payments to himself, $97,000 in 4 months. When the accountant flagged irregularities, Liam panicked, deleted emails, forged George's signature, even tried to frame an admin assistant. The audit uncovered everything. And since George had approved the early invoices without checking, they assumed he was involved. The only reason they weren't already in jail was because David respected my mom. Out of loyalty to her, he gave them 90 days to pay back everything plus 30% interest. 3 weeks left, $126,000. "And you're telling me this? Why?" I asked. George leaned forward like we were having a heart-to-heart. "We need you to help explain to David that we used the money for your college fund. That it was all for you." I laughed in his face. "You want me to lie and say you stole $100,000 for my college fund when you kicked me out years ago?" "It's not lying," Sarah said smoothly. "We did set money aside for you. The situation just shifted. You showed me a bank statement with $1,200. George bristled. "We had more than that. We supported you your whole life. That money was always meant for your future. So where is it?" Silence. Liam finally muttered, "Things came up. The baby needed stuff. Chloe wanted the nursery redone. So you spent my imaginary college fund on nursery decorations?" George's voice snapped. "It wasn't imaginary," then explained, kicking me out and telling me to act like an adult. Sarah switched to her practiced sympathetic tone. "Look, I know you're hurt, but this is bigger than old resentments. Liam could go to prison. Your father could go to prison. Do you really want that on your conscience?" "My conscience is spotless," I said. "Worry about your own." George reached into a folder. "Just sign this. It explains everything. We took out loans, made financial sacrifices, all to send you to college debt-free. David will understand." I read it. A complete fabrication. "This is fraud. You're asking me to sign a statement full of lies." "It's not lies," he insisted. "It's context. It shows our intentions." "No," I said. "Your intention was to steal $100,000. George's voice cracked. "We were desperate. If I get fired, we lose the house. Everything we've built." There it was. The real reason. Not family. Reputation. Then you should have made better choices. Liam lurched to his feet, face red. For a second, I thought he might actually swing at me. Arthur shifted, ready. Liam sat back down. "You owe us this," Liam spat. "We raised you, fed you, gave you a place to live, and now you turn your back?" "You made my life miserable," I said. "Destroyed my things, spread rumors about me, made sure I had no friends, and when I finally escaped, you took my room before I'd even moved out. We were never family." Sarah stood up. "Your mother would want," I snapped. "Don't. Don't you dare use my mom to justify this. She fought cancer while all of you made things harder, and now you want to drag her into your scam? Get out. Just think about it, George said weakly. We're running out of time. You've got options, I said. Sell your house. Liam sells his truck. Sarah sells her jewelry. Take out loans. Fix your own mess, but leave me out of it. Arthur had had enough. He opened the door. Get out. They finally left. Upstairs, my phone had 3 missed calls from an unknown number and a voicemail from Liam. I know you're mad, but if we go down, we're taking you with us. We'll tell David you were involved, that you asked us for money. Help us or you go down, too. I saved it. Then I started a folder, screenshots, call logs, every scrap of evidence. Then another voicemail, same number. George's voice, weary and desperate. Liam, you need to think about what's best for everyone. If someone has to take responsibility, it should be the person who actually did it. I have a family to think about. I can't go to jail. You're young. You'll bounce back. Just think about it. Meant for Liam. Sent to me. And absolutely useful. I saved that one, too. It looked like this was only getting started. They gave me exactly 2 days before the real pressure campaign started. First came the texts from numbers I didn't know, family members I barely remembered, distant cousins, Sarah's friends, all with the same basic message about not letting pride get in the way of doing the right thing. One text from a cousin I hadn't spoken to in years read, "Hey man, your dad mentioned you guys are having some issues. Family sticks together through tough times. Don't burn bridges you might need later." Then my grandparents started getting calls. Relatives asking why they were turning me against George. Sarah's book club friends expressing concern. Arthur shut that down fast, but it was clear they'd started a whisper campaign. The nuclear option came 3 days after their visit. I got a call from the admissions office at my university in Chapel Hill. Someone had contacted them claiming there were irregularities with my financial aid application. The woman on the phone was very professional, but very concerned. Said they needed to verify some information and I should come to the office as soon as possible. I went in that afternoon. Turned out someone had submitted an anonymous tip that I'd lied about my family's income on my financial aid form, that my father made significantly more than what was reported and I was committing fraud to get aid I wasn't entitled to. The financial aid officer walked me through it, showed me the anonymous email that had been sent. It was careful, didn't make specific accusations, just raised questions about accuracy and suggested they investigate. "Is any of this true?" she asked. "No, ma'am. I filled out those forms with my grandparents' accountant. Everything was verified. I don't even live with my father anymore. That's what your file shows. But we have to follow up on these things." It took 2 hours of pulling documents and records to prove everything was legitimate. The officer was apologetic. Said it was probably nothing, but they had to be thorough. I knew exactly who'd sent that email. Then came the call from my part-time job at a local bookstore. My manager said someone had called claiming to be my father. Expressed concern that I might be using controlled substances and stealing to support a habit. Said I'd been struggling since my mother died and they wanted to give her a heads up. My manager didn't believe it. Knew me well enough to know it was garbage, but she had to document the call. Had to note that a concern was raised. A credit alert came next. Someone had tried to open a credit card in my name. The application was flagged because the address didn't match my records. Here's what I figured out: they weren't trying to make me cooperate anymore. They decided I wouldn't help them. So now they were trying to wreck my credibility, make me look unstable, dishonest, unreliable. That way, if I went to David or the police, they could point to a pattern of problems and say I was lying to get revenge on my family. Scorched earth because they had nothing left to loot. That night, Chloe called. Liam's wife. We'd barely ever spoken. I almost didn't answer. Please don't hang up, she said. She sounded exhausted. I need to talk to you alone. About what? About Liam. About what really happened. We met at a coffee shop the next day. She looked rough. Dark circles. Hadn't done her hair. Looked like she'd been crying. Liam doesn't know I'm here, she said. He'd lose his mind if he found out. But you need to know the truth. She laid it all out. The money Liam stole didn't go to family expenses or bills. It went to his ego. Expensive dinners, VIP sections at clubs, a luxury car lease he kept at a friend's place so she wouldn't know. He'd been living a secret life, playing big shot with stolen money while she thought they were broke. He told me we couldn't afford daycare, she said. I've been home with the baby for 2 years because he said we didn't have the money. He was spending thousands on himself. Why are you telling me this? Because they're planning to frame you. Liam and George and Sarah, they have this whole story worked out. You asked Liam for money. He gave it to you to help you out. When the theft was discovered, you convinced him to cover for you. Without you playing along and signing their statement, it's just their word against yours. My blood went cold. Do you have proof? She pulled out her phone, showed me screenshots from Liam's cloud backup. She'd grabbed everything when she suspected he was cheating, text messages between Liam and George, working out the story, voice notes from Sarah coaching them on how to make it believable. Then she showed me more. Bank alerts from a hidden account, the lease agreement for the luxury car signed 3 months ago, photos from his phone of him at clubs, dropping money like he owned the place. I can't let that happen, but I also can't go to the police myself. Why not? Liam's threatened me. Said if I try to leave or talk, he'll fight me for custody and claim I'm an unfit mother. His dad will back him up, pay for lawyers I can't afford. I'm trapped until I can get my daughter somewhere safe. But you can use this. Why help me at all? Her eyes filled with tears. Because you were just a kid when they treated you like trash. I watched Liam brag about it. Laugh about it. I thought it was sibling rivalry. I didn't realize how cruel it was until recently. And now they're trying to destroy you again. I won't be part of it. I thanked her and left. Sent the screenshots to my secure email, added them to my evidence folder. That afternoon, I got a text from Sarah, we need to talk face to face. Just you and me. There are things you don't understand about your father. I didn't respond. Another text, it would be a shame if David heard you were uncooperative. He thinks very highly of you. Would hate for that to change. I took a screenshot, added it to the folder. Then I did something I should have done from the start. I called David. David agreed to meet me at his office on Monday morning. I'd known him my whole life as Uncle David, this friendly guy who'd show up at our house for holidays and always brought me books about space and dinosaurs. He'd been at my mom's funeral and told me if I ever needed anything to call him. I'd never taken him up on it until now. His office was in an industrial complex on the edge of Atlanta. Big warehouse buildings, equipment yards, the whole operation. He met me in the lobby himself. Gave me a hug that actually felt genuine. You look like your mom, he said. She'd be proud of you. We went to his office, and I laid it all out. Showed him the voicemail from Liam threatening to frame me. The screenshots from Chloe about their plan to blame everything on me. The text from Sarah implying he'd believe them over me. The attempt to sabotage my financial aid. David listened to everything without interrupting. When I finished, he sat back in his chair and rubbed his face. Your mom warned me about your father, he said. Before she died, she made me promise to look out for you because she knew what would happen when she was gone. She knew. She knew your father resented you. Never said why, but she knew. And she knew Sarah was poison. Made me swear that if you ever needed help, I'd be there. He pulled out a file from his desk. This is the case against your father and Liam. Want to see what they actually did? The file was thick. Invoices, bank transfers, email chains. Liam had created a fake vendor called Summit Industrial Supply, generated fake invoices for equipment rentals that never happened. George signed off on the first few without checking. Once the pattern was established, Liam started forging George's signature. The money went to a business account under the fake company name, then transferred to a personal account, then withdrawn as cash or used for purchases. $97,000 over 4 months. When my accountant started asking questions, Liam deleted emails, tried to alter records in our system, and when that didn't work, he tried to frame one of our office assistants in a small town outside Atlanta. Planted fake evidence in her desk, created a paper trail suggesting she'd been skimming. Did it work? For about 2 days. Then she came to me in tears, and I looked into it myself, found Liam's digital footprint all over the frame job. That's when I knew this wasn't just theft. It was calculated, cruel, and willing to destroy innocent people to cover itself. What about George? Your father signed off on invoices without verifying them. That's negligence. But when I confronted him, he didn't admit fault or cooperate. He tried to claim the invoices were forged, that Liam acted alone. Then he came to me privately and asked me to drop the audit. Said it would look bad for the company, that we should handle it quietly. That's when he crossed from incompetent to complicit. David pulled up something on his computer. I pulled security footage. Your father and Liam met in the parking lot 3 times after my accountant started asking questions. They were coordinating. David leaned forward. I offered them a chance to make this right. Return every penny plus interest. Resign quietly. No charges filed. All they had to do was own up to it and fix it. What did they say? They asked for more time. Then they came up with this story about your college fund. Wanted me to believe they'd been trying to help you and made poor choices. I told them I'd think about it. Then I did some checking. He pulled out another paper. This is the bank account they showed you. The $1,200 college fund. Want to know when that account was opened? When? 2 days before they kicked you out. They opened it, deposited $1,200, and were planning to use it as proof they'd been supporting you all along. It was a prop. The truth hit hard hearing it confirmed. I'd suspected, but knowing for sure made it real. They tried to use your mom's memory as a shield, David said. Came to me talking about how she'd want me to give them another chance, how she'd want the family to stay together. Your mom would have told them off. What happens now? Now I make a decision. I was trying to honor your mom's memory by giving them a chance to make this right. I didn't want to destroy them because she'd loved your dad once. I was holding back out of respect for her. He leaned back in his chair. But then I saw what they were doing to you. The financial aid sabotage, the fake story, the threats. They're trying to destroy a kid who's done nothing wrong. So, what happens now? Now, I stop holding back. The 90-day deadline is in 3 weeks. If they don't pay in full, I file charges. But after seeing what they tried to do to you, I'm inclined to skip the waiting and go straight to the police. They're going to use that fake story about me, I said. Try to tell you I was involved. I know. Liam's lawyer visited yesterday. They're preparing to claim you extorted money from Liam, that he was trying to help you. They're setting you up as the fall guy. Can they do that? They can try. Won't work, but they can try. Problem is, false accusations like that can still cause you trouble even if you're cleared. So, what do I do? David smiled. You let me handle it. Your mom made me promise to protect you. I'm keeping that promise. He picked up his phone and made a call right there in front of me. Detective Miller? David here. We need to talk about that fraud case I mentioned. It's escalated. I'm filing a formal complaint and I've got evidence of witness intimidation and attempted blackmail. He talked for 10 minutes, laying out everything, the threats against me, the attempts to frame their office assistant, the coordination between George and Liam to cover it up. When he hung up, he looked at me. Detectives will want to talk to you. Bring everything you've got. Every voicemail, every text, every screenshot. This isn't just about the money anymore. The investigation took time. Detectives showed up at my grandparents' house about a week later, and I gave them everything. Liam's threats, the fake story they'd built, Chloe's screenshots, the sabotage attempts on my financial aid. They were professional and thorough. No judgment. Detective Miller, one of the investigators, told me, cases like this usually come down to she said, but you've got a paper trail. That makes our job easier. Within 2 weeks, they executed search warrants. They seized George's computer, Liam's phone, company documents, everything. Digital forensics pulled up deleted emails Liam thought he'd gotten rid of. Full text chains, forged signatures, all of it pointed straight to him. Liam panicked first. He immediately tried to flip on George, claiming George forced him into the whole scheme and he'd just been following orders. He played the victim hard. Didn't work. Every trace of planning and execution led back to him. George tried a different angle, claimed Liam forged his signatures, that he'd been completely unaware of the fraud. But detectives had the parking lot footage of them meeting after the internal audit started, plus messages showing they were coordinating. He was done, too. Sarah held out the longest. She played the shocked, betrayed wife, swearing she had no idea what they'd been doing. That lasted about a week before detectives found her texts coaching Liam on how to frame me and telling him which details would sound believable. Then they found messages she'd sent to the admin assistant Liam originally tried to frame, telling her it would be better for everyone if she stayed quiet, offering her money to sign a statement and hinting that making waves could ruin her career in a small town. The assistant had saved everything. The community response was brutal. George and Sarah had spent years crafting the perfect family image in Atlanta. Photos, events, charity boards. Overnight, it collapsed. Sarah's name vanished from fundraisers. Social media people pretended they'd never known her. One afternoon at David's office, his assistant mentioned she'd run into Sarah at the grocery store. Said Sarah looked terrified, head down, rushing out like she expected someone to spit on her. Her empire of appearances was gone. Liam's wife, Chloe, filed for divorce and immediately moved back to Florida with their daughter. She filed for full custody, and Liam didn't even contest it. The company released a short statement confirming fraud had been uncovered and that the employees involved had been terminated. No names needed. Everyone knew. George resigned. Liam was already fired. 3 months after the investigation began, the DA officially charged them. George, conspiracy to commit fraud, filing false documents, witness intimidation. Liam, fraud, forgery, identity theft, attempted destruction of evidence. Sarah, witness intimidation and conspiracy. They all hired expensive lawyers and tried to fight it, but the evidence was overwhelming. Eventually, they were pushed into plea deals. Liam got 36 months with possible parole after 24 if he cooperated. George got 24 months. Sarah, who fought the longest, finally accepted 12 months plus probation. All three were ordered to pay full restitution, $126,000, split between them. The court put liens on their house, Liam's truck, and basically everything they owned. Sentencing came 5 months later. The courtroom was almost empty. Their friends didn't bother to show up. I sat in the back with my grandparents. Liam went first. He tried to blame everyone but himself. The judge wasn't impressed. She gave him the full 36 months and made it clear parole wasn't guaranteed. George's hearing was rough. He tried a speech about mistakes and learning from them. The judge cut him off. "You didn't make mistakes," she said. "You tried to harm your own son to cover your crimes. That's a choice." 24 months. Sarah cried through hers. The judge remained unmoved. "You had multiple opportunities to stop this," she said. "Instead, you helped orchestrate a plan to frame an innocent young man and intimidate witnesses." 12 months. They were taken into custody immediately. Walking out of the courtroom afterward, I didn't feel triumphant or relieved, just quiet. It scared me for a moment until I realized it wasn't numbness. It was peace. Arthur put a hand on my shoulder. "You okay?" "Yeah," I said. "I think so." David was waiting in the hallway. He hugged me and handed me an envelope. "What's this?" "Job offer," he said. "Your mom made me promise to help you if you ever needed it. We've got an internship, 20 hours during school, full-time in the summer, property acquisition analysis, pays well, looks great on a resume. You don't have to do this." "I know. I want to. And your mom would have wanted me to." I accepted. 2 weeks later, I started. Turns out I was good at it. Research, analysis, tracking property histories. It clicked. That fall semester, I kept my grades up, made new friends, and built a life that finally felt like mine. Liam got out after 28 months on good behavior. I heard he moved to Florida, where no one knew him. Fine by me. George served the full 24 months. Sarah got out after 8 for good behavior. I didn't visit, didn't write, didn't acknowledge their existence. Then, 14 months after Sarah got out, they showed up at my grandparents' house again. That cold November afternoon. I went back to the kitchen table. My grandparents didn't ask questions, just gave me space. I opened the envelope. A letter in my mom's familiar handwriting. Dated 2 weeks before she passed. "My beautiful boy, asterisk if you're reading this, I'm gone. And your father has finally given you what I left for. I'm sorry it took him so long. I'm sorry for a lot of things. I know things are hard with George and Sarah. I know Liam makes your life difficult. I wish I was strong enough to fix it, but the cancer is winning and I'm running out of time. Here's what I need you to know, asterisk asterisk you are worth more than how they treat you. You are smart, kind, strong, and capable. Don't let them convince you otherwise. Your father loves you, but he's broken in ways I couldn't fix. He resents you because you remind him of his own failures. That's his problem, not yours, asterisk asterisk I've set some things up for you. David knows what to do when things get bad, and they will get bad. Go to him. He'll help you. I made him promise. Build a life that's yours. Don't let them drag you down. Don't let them make you small. I love you more than anything in this world. I'm proud of you. I'll always be proud of you, asterisk mom. I read it 3 times, folded it carefully, and put it in my wallet where I've kept it ever since. Helen came over and hugged me. Didn't say anything. Didn't need to. That night, I sat down and wrote my own letter. Not to George or Sarah or Liam, but to myself. Wrote down everything I'd survived, everything I'd built. Every time I'd chosen to stand my ground instead of folding, every moment I'd refused to let them break me. Wrote down who I'd become in spite of them. Then I burned it in the fireplace and watched the smoke carry it away because I didn't need to hold on to it anymore. Didn't need the anger or the hurt or the weight of their dysfunction. I had a job I was good at. Had straight A's that semester. Had a family who actually loved me. Had a future that was mine. They tried to destroy me to save themselves, and it had backfired completely. They'd lost everything while I'd built something real. 3 years later, David stood beside me as my best man at my wedding because he'd earned that place in my life 100 times over. George sent a card. I threw it away unopened. I built a career, built a family, built everything they once tried to take from me. That was enough. Sometimes, I wonder if they ever truly understood the irony of it all, that by trying to ruin me, they forced me to find everything I was meant to be.